Hey, friends. I wanted to talk about letting go of the person that you thought you had to be. Um, when I think of letting go of the person that I thought I had to be, that brings up like a lot of relief and lightness for me. Uh, I find for so long, you know, we've created this ideal self, this self-image of us that we want to portray and project into the world, uh, because we think that's who we need to be in order to be loved and to be, to feel safe and accepted. Um, but most of the time, that ideal created self is not our true self, and it's not aligned with who we really are. And I think the later we get on in life, the heavier that gets, because the more disconnected and hollow we feel. Um, and so that's something that I've been really thinking through lately, and working on, is trying to let go of the parts that don't serve me anymore, and also understanding how they got there in the first place. And you know, I think a lot of this ideal self-image, this personality that we've created for ourselves, it's all based on like a survival instinct, a survival process where we take all the inputs from the environment, and we sort of download this and try to make sense. It's like, okay, like, the internal calculation of how am I going to feel loved, safe, and accepted based on sort of who I am. How can I sort of portray that? And we develop these strategies and defenses and ideal selves, because it's a survival instinct. Um, and there's a balance between, because I think we actually do gain things from the creation of these ideal self strategies. But I think we also lose things, and I think we lose our own authenticity, but we may gain, you know, acceptance into the group, right? So it's not all bad, but I think we have to find that balance point and realize that that ideal self-image of ourselves, we need to either update and evolve, or at least release the old versions that are potentially weighing us down. Because again, these are survival instincts. Um, and I found when we can sort of get stuck with that ideal self-image, we get attached to what that ideal self-image would be if they were successful. And so we try to achieve the success of that ideal self-image that we've created for ourselves, in order to try to feel whole, in order to try to feel in alignment with our true selves. But if you've ever had successes and you've felt nothing, it's because it's still out of alignment with who you are. And so once we can realize that success and achievement isn't going to help us with that feeling of continuity and alignment and wholeness, um, we can drop the charade, um, and we can really get honest about who we really are, and start to really let go of the parts that don't serve us. Um, because once we can start to let go of the parts that don't serve us, and let go of the person that we thought we had to be loved, then we can start the difficult process of grieving the loss of those parts, and um, grieving the loss of expectations that we had to ourselves, on ourselves, based on that ideal image that we created. And we also have to grieve the loss of the dreams that we've created based on a life of a person who isn't actually us. And as we can continue to do that, you know, I find there is a deeper sense of alignment and wholeness, because we're not we're not living into a false reality, a projected idea of somebody who's not actually us, but somebody that we've created in our psychology as a survival instinct. And I think the more we can let go of that, you know, the more grounded we're going to feel. And I think what you'll notice, if this is something that you want to take on, the person that emerges, that the true self, is someone who is a lot quieter, a lot less shiny, um, a lot more grounded. And, you know, that person is willing to disappoint others to put themselves first, right? Which is so important, because we're no longer enticed by the world of people pleasing, um, because we've developed a loving relationship with ourself, because we are able to see ourselves for the first potentially the first time. Um, and that's a beautiful thing. Um, so, yeah, letting go of the person that you thought you had to be. The person you thought you had to be was created by a child that wanted to find love and acceptance and to feel safe. And if you're not a child and you're listening to this, maybe it's time to let go of some of those parts and grieve everything that comes along with it, and realize who you truly are at your core, and develop and grow from that place.